Whether you're a lifelong keeper or just getting started, help us encourage responsible keeping, conservation, and public education in the interest of keeping our reptiles safe and healthy as we protect them for future generations. You're invited to spend time with us as we experience these awesome animals together on Intrepid Exotics. What's going on, guys? Happy Saturday, happy Easter. We made it back. Excuse me. Another, of course, busy day as usual. And the coffee cup says hi. Man, there's been a lot of stuff going on here lately. Hopefully we'll have a pretty productive night tonight. One of the things that I know I want to touch on is I've been getting inundated with people that are having medical emergencies with their snakes. Had a lot of people contacting me for different things. Some of them actual medical emergencies. Some of them are just issues. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff today. Definitely going to lean on a lot of you guys in here too that are experienced keepers and see what kind of input you guys have got. Clearly it's something that we need to talk about because I've seen one really bad case of neurological issues. Seen one coming in where a guy had gotten the animal, had a really bad case of mouth rot when he got it that he wasn't told about. So there's all kinds of stuff to go into. On a more pleasant note, I actually had to get a bigger enclosure for, you can see it behind me up there. It's not the prettiest one in the world. I still got to redo the front, put some sliding doors on it and stuff like that. But that's where the Jagpondro Lilith is at. And so she's a lot happier. She's got a lot more room to move in there. So let's see who we got with us tonight. Erica is on. Good to see you. You are early. Outstanding. Brandon is here. Ken Lee. Judd. Snakes in the garage. I love that snake in that picture too. It's awesome. Laura's in. Chris is in. Doing outstanding. I'm making it. I'm getting better, actually. So we can talk about that too. Faith is in. Good evening. Fred, yes, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Travis is in the house. Nicole is in. Leo, good afternoon. Actually, good evening here. It's 8 o'clock now. John is in. Holy cow. You're not working? John always ends up popping in right there towards the end when we're getting ready to bolt because he works all the time. Hey, Williams Pythons. How you doing? Jessica. That's our friend from down the road here who's got the new spiny tail iguana who she's kicking butt with. You have to give me the update on how he's doing. Last I saw, he was doing really good. Oh, yeah. Always good to give him something a little bit bigger. I got her on the spur of the moment. Hey, you can see her back there cruising around. She's been loving her water bowl. She's right up there swimming and climbing and all that good stuff. But yeah, I kind of got her on the spur of the moment. So she was in that vision cage. Brought that one up. I had to make some modifications to it. Bring it up here. So, hey, Slow is with us. How you doing? All right. So as always, I don't think there are any new developments with USARK, but we're going to look anyway because that's what we do. Oh, share screen. Which one do I want to share? I want to share this one. There we go. Don't want to do that. Really don't want to do that either. Let's see. Come on. Work with me. Okay, we'll do it like that. Let's get that off of there so I can see what's going on. I've been playing with a couple different layouts and stuff like that on here just to see which ones are going to work best. I actually use this to record some videos too when we're looking at videos that people send us that we're critiquing, talking about, and so forth. I'm just going to make a quick stroll down here for those of you guys that don't know. I think everybody in here is intimately familiar with USARK. I'm guessing everybody in here is a member, or for the most part, everybody is. But for everybody that doesn't know, USARK, the United States Association of Reptile Keepers, is essentially a lobby on behalf of reptile keepers. They monitor legislation. They catch the laws that are written into these 90, 100, 200-page documents. They find them and then let us know about them if they're detrimental, and then they give us the information that we need to generate letters to get the bad laws stopped. Here recently, if you've been on the fence about joining USARK, there has been 5 different bans or just bad legislation that they've stopped. And they've done it just like I described. They find it, they let us know about it. We generate the input down to the ruling body, and due to overwhelming public opposition is generally how these things read when they cut them off. There was one in Arizona, one in Colorado, one in Washington, Florida, and Louisiana. All of them were pretty nasty. So kudos, huge thank you out to Phil Goss and Vanessa and Jeremy, all those folks out of USARK for everything they do. They're how we keep doing what we do. So, let's see. Catch up on these a little bit. Faith said she's on the hunt for a cabinet. Yep. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Facebook Marketplace worked really good for me. The cabinet that Chloe is in, right back there, I found that one on Marketplace. Moving sale, they just wanted to get it out of there. And it worked out really well for me. And that's a good one, too. Solid oak. Nice one. Hey, Tam. See ya. Yep, in the UK. We're a little different time zone here. Yep. Yeah, I need to order some new USARK shirts. The only one I've got is that one. I need to get that. And yep, Faith is talking about the iguana ban being stopped. That was a huge deal. Huge deal. We're really happy about that. Let's see. Now these things, you guys all know, I just wing these things. Whatever's happening at the time, we just start talking about it. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster here. Had some issues. I went down to the VA, found out I was type 2 diabetic. So we finally got that under control. Actually, not finally. It happened pretty quick. Got on some medication. I don't have to take insulin or anything like that. I just got to keep an eye on my glucose level and take some meds. And we've got everything under control. And I feel a lot better too. So that helps. And then, of course, about the same time that started, I had 2 abscesses start that I've been treating. And those are almost gone now. So I think I might almost be back into good health. It's been fun. What a drag it is getting old, right? Oh, let's see. Judd said he won't be here long. Oh, cool. Somebody got a new baby ball python. Sweet. Oh, a little different tonight. I usually pull out the pythons. Tonight oh, the huggies. Cool. Yeah, I should go down and grab my hog nose at some point. She needs to get out more. She's really a trip. Yeah, I could probably get the boa out later. See how he's doing. I know a lot of my guys right now are in shed. It looks like they are synchronizing and everybody's wanting to shed at the same time. No, I didn't get a new one. He's talking about Charlie, my rescue that's out there. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy, but God, he gets hard to manage when he gets in here. He gets wrapped around stuff. And I don't know what you guys think, but boa constrictors, I think, are the strongest snakes alive, pound for pound. Barton, he is a friggin' stud. Oh, Donna made it in. Good to see ya. Yep, Charlie was a rescue. Hey, Retactic, how are you, sir? Hey, Tara made it. Oh yeah, Jordan should be in. He always pokes his head in for a little while. So let's see. Yeah, Jessica is obsessed. Everybody that gets their hands on Charlie gets obsessed. It's pretty funny. Jessica and Christine are both big Charlie fans. So he's a good popular boy. Yeah, my big female retic is in blue right now. She's really grumpy. So she's just staying down there doing her thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, Kenley was saying she's glad I got that diabetes figured out. Yeah, me too. I mean, it's really a good thing, especially this summer, because like I said, I already lost 40 pounds since last summer. Which is good. And this just makes me pay that much closer attention to my diet and stuff like that. So it should be a really good summer. I may actually end up getting back into the gym at some point too. Getting back on the heavy bag, get my wind up. So, but yeah, that's how I are doing a little bit better. So let's see. Yeah, I keep slipping, missing them. Let's see, yeah, boas are awesome, especially the little Charlie Chaplin mustache that he's got. Hey, Brian is in the house. Yeah, I've been taking a little bit of a mental health break and getting some stuff done. Jumped on here, played a couple PC games today. Tomorrow's going to be my back to work day. So, yeah, see, Tara noticed you're on time. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I was 40 pounds and went away by accident. So I got another 20 to drop, and then I'll be back down to my army weight. But if I get back into the gym, I'm probably not going to drop too much weight, because I'll start putting muscle back on, and it weighs more than fat does. So I was solid as a brick wall when I was in the military. Times change. I've got a couple of the old Call of Duties. I've been playing a game. It's a new one that came out called Enshrouded. It's a survival RPG. It's actually pretty good. And it's really detailed too, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. Asking if Kagan has a specific workout program. I'm sure she does. I see her posting pictures of herself in the gym all the time. She's ever since I've known her, she stayed in pretty good shape. Yeah, I've seen her sling some pretty good sized snakes around, so I'm sure that has something to do with it too. Never seen me catch up on the comments so fast. Yeah, me either. I don't really think I do that very often. Let's see. Yeah, I almost got that new Call of Duty. No, we'll see. All right. Well, everybody's caught up. Something just flew. I got my window open back here, so I'm sure I got something crawling in. Let's see. Jump down in the comments and let me know what experiences you've had with different mite treatments, because the latest one that somebody had contacted me about. What the hell? Just had a June bug caught in a ceiling fan. The latest one a guy contacted me about, man, was a baby berm Couldn't have been more than 6-8 months old, something like that. And he never told me what brand he used, but he gave him some kind of a topical mite treatment, and that poor snake has been seizing ever since. Can't get into the vet. I wish I would have had a full video of, I've got a partial one, but in order for me to bring it up, since I haven't edited it or saved it or anything like that, it would show the guy's name, and I don't want to do that. And I ain't throwing anybody under the bus. But if anybody has had any experiences with any kind of mite treatment that has went wrong, or anything that you've tried that is definitely a no-go, something that we don't want to use, go ahead and drop that down there. There was another discussion. Somebody was asking in one of the groups about those treatments and which chemical to put on their snake. I've always been a big proponent of using those hot strips. The matter of fact, should probably be able to pull a picture of that stuff up if anybody's not familiar with them. I actually put out a whole video on it too about how I use them, because you do got to be careful with them. Anything that's a pest killer, you've got to make sure that you're dosing it right. You don't want to overexpose the animals to chemicals and stuff like that. But these things, I've seen them used on everything from hatchlings to adults, little tubs to 8-10 foot enclosures. And they have always killed everything. And I've never seen a snake have an adverse reaction to them. Of course, I've never seen them misused either. But let's see. I don't want to pull Amazon up. Bear with me. I'm going to. Here we go. This is a good picture. If it actually shows up right. The interwebs just is not cooperating with me today. You know what? I'll just pull this up. It'll be fine. Anybody that really wants to see them can. So this is what I'm talking about that I've always used. And like I said, I've seen these things used forever. They come in that plastic case. You can hang them up in your reptile room, and it'll help anything that gets outside of the cage and whatnot. But inside there, the yellow thing is just it's like a 1/4 inch thick rubber slat in there, and you can cut it up real easily, which is what you got to do depending on the size of the enclosures. You've got a tub. Typically I'll go down like 1 inch, and then just cut like 1 inch of the top off, leave that in the tub. If you've got an 8-foot enclosure, end up using a whole strip. But I've never heard of those things having any adverse reactions, especially nothing like what I've seen today. Just be really careful if you guys are treating your animals with anything, a frontline or whatever any of the other stuff is that you're using. Make sure that you're dosing it right, that you're diluting it the way it's supposed to and stuff like that, because you do not want to be going through what this poor fellow is going through. He's, like I say, and he can't get into the vet right now. Snake's probably looks like he's got permanent neurological damage. He was thinking about euthanizing it. And I was like, well, until you get it to a vet, don't euthanize it. At least wait until you find out what's going on with it and find out if it's going to get better or not. So, but just be really careful. Like I said, the safest thing that I know to use to get rid of mites is that. So, where you at? Aha, Brandon is in the house. How you doing? Hey, what kind of spray have you been using, Erica? Just for my own personal knowledge, so I can keep track of the stuff that folks are using. Let's see. Yeah, mites. Yeah, at the 10-day mark, all of those living mites in there should be dead. You should be pretty close to getting whatever eggs survived to hatching in the next couple days, and they're gonna wax them eggs too as soon as they hatch, and then that should just about kill the life cycle of them. That's the thing about mites is, if you go in there, you can kill the living ones. They always leave eggs laying around, and I want to say it's like a 12 to 14-day life cycle from the time they hatch or from the time they're laid until the time they hatch. Fact check me on that because I'm not 100% sure. I think that's what it is, which is why I say about 2 or 3 weeks with those strips in there. So you get the first round, it'll kill the living ones, and then when the eggs hatch, it waxes them too. So, hey, Bert's with us. Good evening, sir. There I go, starting to get behind again. A minute. Okay, sorry. You guys just found a rainbow boa. Yeah. Man. Yeah, that's a tough one. If you already know you're bringing something like that in, you're risking everything else in the house. I don't know that I would do that. Hey, how are you, sir? Thank you. Hey, boy, how might. Yeah. Hey, Carla is with us. How are you doing tonight? Let's see. Tam was saying if she's seen snakes do that, probably permethrin based. It's easy to overdose them. Recommend rinsing the snakes off so there's no more chemical on it. But yeah. I mean, by the time the snakes absorb that stuff into its skin, into its eyes and mouth and all that stuff, not really too much that I know of that you can do. Yeah, Kevin, of course, has got a lot of good stuff as far as medications and antibiotics and stuff like that to use. I actually, there was another guy too, and I think I can share this picture because I had never seen this before, and this guy sent me these pictures. Oh, where are they at? Now I got to go back in and find them. But oh man, I bet this is the one that texted them to me. And if that's the case, then yep, I think it is. Arg. Let's see. I don't know if you're going to be able to see these photos or not on my phone. If you can't, then I may put it up there because I'm freaking lean on you guys to see if you've ever seen anything like this. The first picture, a little bit of a background on this guy. He got a scaleless ball python. It arrived FedEx. He didn't feed it or anything. He put it in the enclosure. Overnight, the snake regurged. And this is what he looked like. Come on, focus in. Oh, okay, cool. Man, that's pretty clear for my phone. So this is the baby scaleless, right? And, I assume that the tint on there may have something to do with the camera or something right now. But that was what he looked like in the morning. And this is the after picture when he contacted me about him. And that, very first thing I thought was, some kind of infection there. I even sent Kevin McCurley a text, sent these pictures. He said the same thing. It looked like a blood infection. Definitely a vet call. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before. That's the first time I've ever seen one do that. But, man, it's like 2 really bad cases back to back. Our folks have been getting in touch with me. I don't know, man. I think I really need to make contact with a vet and maybe start going over some of these individual things on a live stream or pre-recorded or something like that, because it just seems like there's a lot of stuff going on. There we go. Now I'm way behind on the comments, of course. Let's see. Panther, hello. How are you doing? You get mites from them being exposed to some place where an infected snake has been. Snake mites only live on snakes. They don't. You're not going to get them out of the backyard or anything like that, unless you've had a snake out in that same area that has mites. Then you take one out there and they'll pick it up. But mites can get mite eggs. They're really small. You're not going to see them, so you'll get them transferred from reptile shows. Anytime you're in another environment with somebody that's got snakes and you run back and forth or stuff like that. So. Now, that was the stuff that Erica was talking about. It's literally called reptile spray. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would use a spray like that if it doesn't kill the eggs, when you can sterilize the enclosure, take the substrate out, put the paper down in there, throw those pest strips in there, just leave them. All you got to do is change the water every day, because that stuff, it kind of fumes up in there and it'll settle in the water. So you want to make sure you change that every day. And just super easy. Yep, typically a 2-week. Yeah, same with fleas. Cool. Oh, let's see. We're taking them out. Yep. Yeah, same thing. I mean, you can't rescue that animal. It's there's not much you can do for it. Yep. Yeah, pet stores are another thing. Yeah. You can pretty much guess, you walk into PetSmart or Petco or something like that, if you get around a place where they've been handling the snakes, there's a good possibility that some of the stuff that they've got is been exposed to mites, got eggs, whatever the case may be. Yeah. Outstanding. Carla's got her Dumeral's boa out, hanging out with us tonight. Oh, this one. This is weird. Has anybody tried poultry dust? I've heard that you just take the water out, sprinkle the stuff in, wait 24 hours. And I have no idea. I've actually never heard of poultry dust. So, let's see. Yeah, Kevin is definitely a wealth of information. If there's ever anything that I get completely stuck on, and I'm like, I have no freaking clue. Typically, Kevin has seen it a time or two somewhere. So, Timothy, good evening. No, says Kevin just did another Mite video recently. Cool. Yeah, he put out a video on Facebook earlier today. Had me freaking rolling. I should pull it up and play it. It was funnier than hell. He's got some people sitting around and he's sitting there reading out of a picture book, making it up as he goes. I about died. Let's see. Get back here. I'm just catching up on the comments here. Look, damn. Everything of this. It's talking about the poultry dust, apparently used on chickens and birds and stuff. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so another thing that we wanted to talk about tonight outside of that, if anybody has anything pop into their head about mites or medications or anything that you've had a bad experience with, feel free to just go ahead and drop it down there. Fortunately, I have had uh, one respiratory infection and one snake with mites, and that's how I got them. So I had to treat them after the fact. So I literally don't have a whole lot of experience treating snakes because mine typically don't get sick. Worst thing I got to worry about is pushing, getting a little puffy on the mouth and stuff like that. But that never lasts long. You take them out, let them run around, work off some energy and stuff like that, and they stop. Or if it's close to feeding time after they eat, they stop. So, but fortunately, I don't have a whole lot of first-hand experience treating sick snakes. So, hey, Ken is in the house. How you doing, sir? Good to see ya. See, so, one of the other things that I was thinking about doing, and I put this up on the Facebook page a while back, put out a survey on the Patreon channel. For those of you guys that don't know, we've got an Intrepid Exotics Patreon page. And one of the things that I want to start doing is a Zoom call. Either that or, a Zoom call, StreamYard call, whatever. Something that's live on camera for all the Patreon members. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the way I've been bouncing around ideas about whether I want to do have the Saturday night live stream here like we always do, and then go into the middle of the week and have the Patreon Zoom calls. But there's doing it that way, it seems like in the middle of the week, it's like everybody has got something going on. It always conflicts with somebody. And I don't want to kind of step on anybody else or make anybody have to choose. Wednesdays is when Reach Out Reptiles does theirs. So anybody that's on here and on Reach Out Reptiles would have to pick one. And I wouldn't be able to hang in on that because I'd be doing them out. So I don't want to cross over like that. I guess Bob from Green Room does his live streams on Thursday. Keys Constructors does a live stream on Friday. So I'm thinking what I might do is kind of do the same arrangement that Garrett does. He'll do the live video just like we're doing now on YouTube, and then go straight from that into the Patreon. So I may end up bumping this from 8 o'clock Eastern to 7 o'clock Eastern, maybe. And then after this, getting on and having a Zoom call for the Patreon members after that. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Somebody just said something about, Bob only does his live once a month. Okay. Well, maybe Thursdays would be cool. Hey, my mother is on. You're actually watching me on a 58-inch TV. It's way too much on my face to be able to see. So. Yeah, so we're gonna. I'm guessing that Tara's saying she liked that idea. I'm guessing she's talking about the idea of doing the Patreon call after the live streams. So the only thing is like some of our live streams, man, we'll get on here and you guys will have me talking for 3 hours, which means that the Patreon call wouldn't start until 10, 11 o'clock or something. Don't want to hold everybody up that late. I guess we'd have to exercise some self-control and actually put a time limit on these things. Most of the time, I guess it falls in around an hour and a half, something like that. But last week it was pushing 3 hours. So there's just all kinds of stuff going on to talk about. I think I had all the animals out and all that other stuff. Get back here. I'm trying to go down. I try and go down the line so I don't miss anything. And then the thing scrolls up on me and I go 2-3 comments down. Let's see. And a lot of people saying Thursdays. Yeah, Tara's just had the idea that I've been thinking of about starting it at 7 instead of 8, and then rolling right into the Zoom call after this. I think that's what we may end up doing. Yeah, there's a lot of folks that are normally pretty regular on here. So yeah, that may actually end up working out best. So, and that call is going to be for the paid Patreon members. So we've got to have some kind of a perk that that's really about what it revolves around too. Is we're starting to get a pretty decent number of Patreon members, and I really need to start doing more stuff specifically for them. So that's gonna be one of the first things that we do. And like I said, I've been a member of Garrett with Reach Out Reptiles. I've been a member of his Patreon for over a year, and he does a really good job with it. So I'm gonna try and slowly, I think, start modeling it kind of off of what he does. He has 2 different tiers of Patreon. I know he's got a normal one and then a breeder tier that's just like $100 a month or more. I'm not gonna split it up. It's just gonna be, if you're a paid Patreon member, then I'll go onto the Patreon page and post the link for the Zoom call. And all you got to do is just go on and you should get an email. Click on the link, it'll open it up, and we can all sit there and video chat about anything we want to. Show off animals, show off handling stuff or anything like that. That might be something that'd be really cool too. If any of the folks on there have got animals that they have a hard time handling, then we could actually have all the Patreon members in there on the same video and have that one person on camera. We can kind of talk through handling and reading the snake's behavior and helping folks out like that. So that might be kind of a cool thing. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different stuff that we can do. So yeah, it's where we at? I'm trying to catch back up on these things. I know everybody's talking about different days and stuff like that, but there's also different days that people say they can't do it. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. I may end up starting this next week. So I think what I'll do probably tomorrow or Monday, I'll be working on getting all this stuff set up. I'll run the live streams from 7:00. So that'll make it a little bit earlier and finish up a little bit earlier. And then we'll end up going straight from there into the Zoom calls. So I think that'll be cool. Oh, hey, Sam made it. Good to see ya. Yeah, I thought about splitting it up on the weekend, doing this and then doing that on Sunday. But Sundays are typically my days where I do all of my catch-up work. That's when I'm changing water, changing and cleaning enclosures, doing all my feeding and stuff like that. Sometimes recording if I've got time to get a video pumped out and stuff like that. So yeah, I know it doesn't need to be every week. I just think it's easier, honestly. It's just so much easier. It's just like this live stream, back the first year and a half or something like that, I had a channel. Yeah, I just do sporadic lives. Weeks where I wasn't able to get a video out, like this week, which I wasn't able to get a video out this week. I might go 2-3 weeks sometimes without having anything put out. And since I started this, and it's a committed 8:00 every Saturday, hell or high water, we're going to be here. We're going to be live, even if we're talking about nothing. I think it's just so much simpler to do it every week. Everybody can pop in whenever they want to, and they know, this time, this day, this is going to happen. So it's that kind of consistency, at least with this part, that we're working to maintain. So let's see. Any more about let's see. It would be fun. Sometimes there's a few people. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be okay. You know, if there's weeks that we get on there and there's something going on, there's not a lot of people on the Zoom call or something like that. You know, it doesn't have to be a big ordeal every week. It can just be, hey, checking in, all that stuff. But I do think it would be a really cool forum because it's hard enough for people to find, you know, good coaching on handling and behavior and stuff like that. Or if they've got something coming up with their animals, and not everybody's got somebody that they can just call and say, hey, man, can you help? So I think having that like in a group setting, everybody can collaborate on stuff. Everybody can learn from everybody else's experiences, things like that. Like I said, if we're sitting in here, we've got 10, 15 people on a live Zoom, and one guy is fighting a nasty retic or something like that, and we're kind of talking and working through all of that stuff, then I think people would get a lot out of it. And everybody can ask questions in real time. You know, well, why did you tell them to do that? And, you know, man, what's that snake doing right now? What's that looking like? So I think it'd be kind of cool. Man. Yeah, and I was working on an enclosure yesterday and got something in my damn eye as well. I tell you what, man, it's been the last couple of weeks have just been bad. I'm ready for everything to stop hurting. I almost didn't think I was going to be able to make it on tonight because this morning it was really friggin' painful. Really light sensitive because I wear contact lenses. I get something in that thing and my eyes just toast. But fortunately, it's a little bit better now. Oh, let's see. What else have we got going on that's new this week? I know there's something. Man, what was I thinking earlier? There was something else. Yep. Yeah, man. I mean, I get a lot of I get a whole lot of people sending me messages about, you know, handling issues and stuff. So those same people can jump on. I think the lowest Patreon I've got is like $10 a month. So that shouldn't be a big deal for most folks. And those are also the folks that I, you know, make sure that I spend, you know, they get immediate attention if they need help and stuff like that. So, and as things progress, after we eventually get moved and get set up, I want to do again kind of something like Garrett does, where he's got Retic Fest every year. For his Patreon folks, I'd like to do something similar to that out here, which is why when I find that place, I want to find something that's got enough land that I can host something like that with, you know, 20, 30, 50 people, whatever the case may be. And, you know, just kind of do that same thing that Garrett does for Retic Fest down here on a smaller scale. Which would be kind of cool. Oh. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there, man. I that's one thing that I've got to say. I am very fortunate in the fact that I've got a direct line to some very knowledgeable people. If I ever get stumped on something, then yeah, there's somebody that I can call pretty quickly to find out. And I end up doing it sometimes, you know, just like this guy that sent me the picture of that scaleless ball python that like turned red overnight. Yeah, like I said, I'd never seen that before. And I am the first person, if I'm not familiar with something, if I'm not 100% sure, I'm the first person to say, I'm not 100% sure. Let me ask somebody. That's one of the things that they beat into your head before you went on to a promotion board in the military. Yeah. If they ask you a question, you don't shrug your shoulders and say, I don't know. Correct answer is, I don't have that information right now, but I'll get back to you, Sergeant Major. Kind of sticks with you. Oh, man. Yeah, I've done some steel framing before when I was down in Texas, man. And that was that is hell. If you get any, you do a lot of grinding on metal studs, things like that. You get that stuff in your eyes, you're hurting. Let's see. What did I miss? Somebody had something. Now. No, I was trying to see if, I guess you was talking about the reptile support group thing. So, yeah. That's the positive feedback and helping people and stuff like that. And that's invaluable. There's too many places where you, I mean, people are still pretty gun shy a lot of times of coming out with questions in groups because they're afraid of, it's getting better, but you never know. You may ask a question that you just don't have the answer to, and somebody come in there and rip you apart for it. It's one thing about, I can be judgmental about some things that are clear cases of right and wrong, but I don't really think of it as being judgmental. I call it having good judgment. Just having a moral compass and being able to differentiate right from wrong and stuff like that. Most of the time, when somebody's asking for help with reptiles, it doesn't fall into one of those categories. A person typically has a pretty good heart. They either got bad information or they got in over their head. They thought something was going to be easy, good faith, and it wasn't. So those are the times when we really got to make sure we're helping them instead of putting them down. So that was one thing I learned really early, because I started first when I was in my school. The first time I taught anything was at the martial arts school. And, we would have doctors and lawyers training with us, stuff like that. And, here I was, 17, 18-year-old kid. The only thing I knew was fighting. And, you're teaching these people who have got PhDs something. So just because somebody doesn't know something that doesn't mean that they're dumb. That person asking the question about the snake, enclosure or heat, whatever the case may be. I mean, they might literally be a rocket scientist and have just never touched a snake before and are asking a question. So it's all stuff we got to keep in mind. Let's see. Not doing here. I think if this is referring to, well, there's tiers on the Patreon, like 10, 25. I think the way I've got it set up is 10, 25, 50, 100, and 500. Because there are people out there that are fairly wealthy that do contribute to some things. So if there's anybody that's very well off that wants to support to that level, I've got that option up there. The Patreon can really be a game changer as far as stuff like that goes. So hopefully we can get that built up. And like I said, one of the things that I really want to do, since it is so helpful, I really want to start making more things available to everybody on Patreon regularly. And it's starting to get to the point here too that there's a mosquito in there. Boom. Bye. All right. It's the only thing you'll see me kill is a mosquito. I guess it kind of is starting to get to the point too where, as many messages as I've been getting lately, it is time to come up with a way to triage that stuff. Because I'm getting, people contacting me at midnight with medical emergencies with their snakes, and they can't get in to see the vet, and they're like, "What would you do?" So I don't know. But like I said, there's a lot of different stuff. As you guys come up with ideas too, man, I am definitely open to suggestion on things that you guys think would be beneficial perks for something like that. Yeah, I do need to. And this suggestion's been made to me many times, and I just haven't gotten around to doing that. I probably should. So maybe we'll get something like that lined up pretty soon. And yeah, as far as like I said, there's different tiers to the Patreon, just like there's different tiers membership on YouTube and all that other stuff. But is anybody that's like when we start doing those open Zoom calls and stuff like that, anybody that's a paid member at any level will get the link. I didn't even know until I started this one Patreon. I didn't even know there was free memberships on there, and started seeing all these people pop up that were free members. I didn't know that was a thing. I always thought that it was all just stuff like that. So I need to go in and tweak a couple things in there too. But yeah, just to clear that up, no matter what tier you are on Patreon, any paid member, we're going to be doing that stuff for. Yeah, that say you can't add more wine to a glass that's already full. That was one of the first things that I was told when I moved into the school that I lived in, because I had taken about 6 months of Japanese karate before that, and walked in the door, and I was like, okay, you need to forget all that shit. This is how we do it. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is one thing. Erica pointed something out. This group of folks that hangs out here is great. I never have to moderate this thing. You guys make my job real easy on here. Stan the man, how you doing, man? Are you all thumbs tonight, Erica? Good policy indicates you hold for your time. Here. Yeah, Tara was saying it's good to assume that you can't see the whole picture before commenting on things. And you know what's weird too? Especially with all of the polarization and stuff out there between people. It's so sad because, say for instance, from a political standpoint or something, right? You got people on the left, people on the right, so polarized anymore. And when you get a person from each end of the spectrum alone and you start talking about just basic values, it's almost identical. And people really think, pretty much across the board, man, most people value pretty much the same stuff. There's always going to be points of disagreement and stuff like that, but for the most part, people are pretty similar. And it's just the craziest thing that so many people are convinced that the other people are the bad guy when they don't even really understand what it is that they think or value or anything like that. And if they took the time to do that, they'd realize, hey, we're not as different as I thought we were. So it's crazy. It's one thing I've always said is I guarantee that if you have a person telling you to hate somebody else, you typically have more in common with the person you're being told to hate than with the person that's telling you to hate them. Okay, let me keep going here. Oh, we miss. So yeah, anyway, I mean, that'll be a really cool, we start doing those Zoom calls. I will probably end up starting those next week. So expect to see the live stream starting an hour earlier, which will be 7 o'clock Eastern, and we will go straight from that. And it's either going to be a Zoom call. I'm going to look at StreamYard and see how many people I can get on here. Pay $60 a month for this crap, so I better be able to get a lot of people on here. But I'll have to check. And it'll either be here or on Zoom. So let's see. These are best to call something to do. Yeah, Faith was mentioning Reddit thread and stuff like that. That's another thing, man. There's some other avenues that I need to venture out into as well. Okay, so we're positive things. Turn things on. Let's see. Okay, so we can have a panel at 10 on StreamYard. Well, we'll see if we end up having, because right now StreamYard works pretty good. If we have 10 people through the Patreon coming in, then I may just go ahead and use this. Yeah, Tim just mentioned Discord. That's something that I need to get started too. I've had other people tell me that they've got Discord set up, and I probably should. So, any other suggestions that you guys can think of? I think it's actually going to be a kind of short night tonight. Hell, all my animals are in shed. And so I won't be pulling too many of them out. And it's been a busy day. So see if I can catch a couple of these last minute remarks. Anything coming up? So I think we're going to go ahead and call it early night. Oh. Yeah, I know. I've got to start expanding out and doing some of this other stuff. I'm still kind of in the process of cleaning house on some of my social media. You get some people with some pretty twisted and extreme views on there, and I make no bones about the fact that I don't want those people around. So a couple of the remarks or a couple of statements that I've made here, I can watch the sub count kind of drop down a little bit, but like I said, it's quality over quantity. That's why this community is as good as it is, because I tell the shitheads and the stupid people to go away. It's one thing I am pretty proud of is that the community that's kind of built up around this has been really good. Got some good folks in here. I think it's coincidence that they all go into. I don't know, man. I've thought about that. I don't think. Hang on. Has some bikes going down the road. This is getting ready to drown us out. Um, but I don't know. I really don't think that they coordinate their sheds or anything like that. So. I think everybody has got a snake named Apollo. Actually, a little factoid for everybody. The medical symbol is derived from, let's see, one of them, and it's been a while since I've looked at this. There's actually two of them. If you look at the one medical symbol that's got the two snakes on it, that's actually wrong. The Army screwed that up. There's the staff of Caduceus, which is the staff of Hermes. The story behind that isn't medical. It's that I think it was Hermes was walking along. He seen two snakes fighting, and he threw a stick down, and then both of them stopped fighting and wrapped around the stick. So it is symbolic of mercantile and compromise and stuff like that. The staff of Asclepius. Asclepius was in Greek mythology like a healer who ended up being deified and like turned into a demigod or something like that, according to mythology. But it said that he had a staff, and he would have a snake that would ride the staff everywhere that he went and would whisper the cures to diseases in his ear, and that's how he healed. So when you see those different symbols, the one with the two snakes is really not a medical symbol. That's a staff of Hermes, and the Army screwed that up because when the Army Medical Corps came up with their design, that's what they picked up. And it's like back in the 30s or 40s or something like that. Interesting factoid. But yeah, snakes for a long time have been representative of healing and rebirth and renewal and all that other stuff. It wasn't until Western culture decided is terrified of them over here that decided to think that they're all evil. There's a guy. It's really kind of funny. One of the foremen at work, he's actually from Africa, and he is the person who is the most terrified of snakes. Period, bar none, hands down. I really want to get him over to the house. I tried last summer, and he wouldn't come over. And I'm like, dude, you're from Africa. I mean, that's where all the scary shit lives. And he's like, man, I was in the city. We didn't have scary shit there. So one of these days, he's kind of like my goal, man. I want to get him over here and get him over his fear of snakes. So, let's see, reptile. So let's say in a reptile themed photo contest, it'd be cool. That would be cool. Much appreciated. Much appreciated, Bert. Bob. Oh yeah, John. Definitely. Yeah, we've got some great folks that hang out here, man. Probably some other great folks that just sit back quietly and don't speak up, that hang out that we don't even know we're here. So should I get yeah. Let's see if I can get caught up on these things real quick. Museum event. Oh yeah, Jessica, I saw that. I'm gonna have to get with you. I seen you put that thing out there about the museum event. Yeah, I'll get with you offline. See if we need to see how much stuff you're gonna be doing out there, and if you want some help. So for those of you guys that don't know, Jessica's only like an hour away from me. She's helped out with a couple of the events that we've done. She's been out and brought some stuff out. So we do some stuff together. The whispering snake. Who had it? It was a man named Asclepius. He was a doctor. And again, the story goes that he had a staff, a walking stick, and a snake that rode around on it with him. And the snake would whisper to him the cures for the diseases of his patients. So talking snakes aren't that original in mythology. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get any of mine to talk to me. Keep trying, but they are staying pretty tight-lipped. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a big hurry to take off, but I finished my second coffee already. I made it through the first one in like the first 5 minutes. This is a funny question. Tara asked me what my favorite food was. I don't have favorites of anything. One thing that that's funny about the favorites thing. Again, just about every one of my thought processes can be traced back to martial arts in one way, shape, or form. But there's, without going in and trying to remember all the philosophical crap verbatim, there is a state of mind where you don't entertain favorites. You don't have any favorites. You don't prefer one weapon over another. You don't prefer one technique over another, because the situation dictates what you use and not your preferences. So if you have a favorite, then you'll be inclined to do something or use something at an inappropriate time when you should have done something else or used something else. So that whole concept just really stuck with me as I was practicing with different weapons and stuff like that and training different techniques. And it all just kind of carried over into the rest of my life too. I mean, it's like, I love a good ribeye steak, but if I ate ribeye steaks every day, sooner or later I would get tired of it, and it's not my favorite anymore. So, so anyway, a long-winded explanation for. Of course, I do got to say, man, cheesecake is kind of my thing, but considering that now I've got diabetes to manage, I don't know how much cheesecake I'm going to be knocking down. I'm going to have to. Yeah, it's really kind of good though, but because it makes me watch my diet a lot more closely. But I've got to have a cheat day of some sort. Oh, yeah, I just have to take extra diabetes medicine that day that I eat the cheesecake. Oh, let's see. How close you get it? She's saying Bob's the closest I'm going to get to one of my snakes talking to me. Yeah, well, probably pretty accurate. None of them are really that vocal. And Asclepius found that snake bringing herbs to an injured snake. Oh yeah, man. Some of the old mythology is pretty interesting around this stuff. And you can always see, you start looking through the really old mythology, and you can see how it all kind of creeps up into modern symbolism and stuff. Oh, let's see. Peter's asking which snake is the most comfortable with being handled by a stranger. The snake that is most comfortable being handled by a stranger is the one that's been handled by the most competent keeper, regardless of what species it is. I found colubrids can be a little bit dicier, but on the other hand, they're corn snakes and stuff like that. They can be socialized just like anything else. As far as the snake's demeanor, the things that are going to impact whether you can let somebody handle it or not, of course, is the competence level of the person you're giving it to. Filial generation, you'll hear F1, F2, F3. That's the generation, how far away they are from being wild caught. Those impact their behavior some, but you'll also see some animals that are wild caught that just adapt to being handled. They stop, you know, biting and all that stuff. Any species of snake can be handed off to a stranger if it's been socialized. See. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna hang out for a little while longer. I may take a 5-minute intermission here. So if I'll give it a couple minutes. I'm gonna catch up on the comments. And then I'm probably gonna take like a 5-minute break and then just hang tight and I'll be right back and we'll find something else to get into. I'll take a snake out or something. Hey Michael, how you doing? Yeah, false alarm. We'll hang out for a little while longer. I know an hour seems really short, especially since the last one was 3 hours. Yeah, see, Kai has it. Multiple absolute favorites. That's the way I am. I got a bunch of stuff that I like. They're all my favorites. Oh, I know I make a lot of people's heads hurt. Oh, yeah, I've got to get tired of potatoes because that starch turns into glucose, and that glucose is what kills me. So, yes, the weekend. John was asking if we was going to Retic Fest this year, and if there's a date for it. Retic Fest is around 4th of July weekend. So whatever that weekend is, I think that's the Saturday. And I know typically Abby does something the day before, which I think she's going to do again. And some folks out there do stuff the day after as well. But yeah, if there's any of you guys that are interested in Retic Fest, that's up in Pennsylvania. Garrett Hartle puts it on with Reach Out Reptiles. All of his Patreon members have, you can go up there, typically get a room Friday night. Saturday, they have the event, and you'll want to get a room for Sunday night too, because, we'll all sit around and eat and shoot the shit and all that stuff. And then come to nighttime, somebody always ends up throwing a bottle around. So you're just not going to want to start a long drive home. So you figure 2 nights at a hotel or with a tent and whatever you want to do. But yeah, anybody's got any interest in that, let me know. And I'll get you all the details and let you know how you get all set up. He puts on a pretty good event out there, man. He caters it with this guy, pulls up a whole damn cooking trailer and has some great barbecue. So it's always a good time. Tara talking about never get tired of sushi. But see, that's the thing that I think is funny because, like, when I was a kid, I studied Eastern philosophy and Japanese language. I lived in a martial arts school and all that other crap. But I cannot stand sushi. There's something about sushi I just don't like. I drink the hell out of some sake, though. But never was able to do. Man, all you guys talking about cheesecake and shit now. Yeah. Yeah, I seen that. God, what was it that he had out? I don't even remember what kind of snake that was. I want to say, goddamn, black rat snake or something. But yeah, it was crazy. Maybe I'll see if I can find out when I come back. Speaking of coming back, I'm going to go ahead and leave the chat right here. I'm going to put this up and give me about 5 minutes and I will be right back. Okay, we're back. Got more coffee. There we go. And I forgot too. I can't believe I forgot this part because this kind of sucked, but it was kind of the right move. The new Asian water monitor that I had here that I was working with, Fraser. Now I had brought him over here, and I may end up at some point actually getting another one over here. But Aubrey had made the offer that if I wanted to bring one over here and use them for some videos and stuff, that I could. And this particular Asian water monitor is actually a nerd one. So I was going to bring him over here, work with him for a little while, make some videos with him. And then I just have to make the decision whether or not to buy him or take him back over there. Two things kind of came into play. One is I was down there and I was looking, I was like, man, I really need to get this guy built out the way I got Niles built out. And I just don't have enough room down there to put another tub in there for another monitor lizard. Plus, I got him, and he was so well behaved every time I interacted with him that there was really nothing that I could show with him, as far as socializing, taming down a monitor. He was a freaking perfect gentleman. So I know it seems kind of counterintuitive, but yeah, I mean, it was too nice of a lizard. So I ended up taking him back over to Aubrey. I may end up, if we can get moved soon enough and get everything upgraded soon enough, I may end up getting him back and buying him. Especially since he's got really good genetics. Like I said, he's one of Kevin's monitors. So we'll have to see how quickly all that stuff goes. So anyway, I know I'd put out a couple videos with him. And I just don't, there's not really anything constructive that I can show with him that I can't show with Niles. So, but he did really good. He got a little bit of a vacation, and he's back over there with Aubrey now. So, let's see. Burr was asking, do your snakes seem to want to come back to you when others hold them? I notice if I'm standing near them, they try. Oh, yeah. Yeah, mine will definitely do that. If I hand them off to somebody and I'm standing close to them, a lot of times they'll roll right back over. So, it's a good question. Alex was asking how, like, the different filial generations know, quote, if their parents were wild and so forth. It's not that they know, it's that you see it with domesticating any species pretty much. If you catch something that's wild caught, of course, it was born in the wild and learned to fear people, typically in most cases, throughout its life, really reactive and stuff like that. When you get one, as soon as you get the first generation that you actually hatch out and you've got it in your hands from the day it's born, then they never know any real fear of people outside of that instinct. And as you get more generations into it, they are more predisposed to be trusting and stuff like that. There again, I mean, you can take a 15th generation captive bred snake and turn it into a complete asshole if you don't handle it right. It doesn't take too many mistakes before those instincts start kicking in. But they're on the flip side of that too. I mean, I've seen people, I mean, hell, you can watch Rob Christian. He's got a video he put up on Instagram not too long ago where he was out and seen a wild water snake out basking. And he just crept up on it, got up there, and it started scratching under its chin. It didn't run. It didn't strike at him. And that was a snake in the wild. And he's got it on video. So there's a lot of variables to it. But let's see. Yeah, that's one thing, especially if you're talking about upper level snakes like retics and barms and stuff like that. They do recognize their people. All of my snakes know exactly who I am, and and they recognize me compared to somebody else. They act a little bit differently, so you can tell. Oh, and I know I'm way back here in the comments, so I'm just gonna read through. Yeah, dude. Food discussions are bad for me. See, I've spent all of my life never having to regulate my food at all, especially, when I was training and fighting and then in the military. And it's all about calories. You just get as many calories on board as you can because you burn them all. And then when I quit burning calories, I kept taking them in. That didn't work. Let's see. For those of you guys that don't know, I just try and kind of triage all the comments. I'm not going to pull up all of the stuff where there's just conversations in between you guys looking for questions and all that, things that we can touch on. I think that's right. We was talking about the snake that Kevin had out. It was so vocal. I think it was an Asian keeled rat snake. Yep. Confirmations. That's what it was. Yeah, it was crazy. I'd never heard an animal make that sound before. Yeah. There's the dog conversations. Man, I got a lot. He's asking if I've got any possible co-host. Yeah, I need to bring Niles up here one of these days. He would come up here and flip out. He is really really sensitive to his environment. Of course, tomorrow is supposed to be nice out here, so I'm going to throw the harness on him, and Niles and I are going for a walk tomorrow. While it's nice out, probably going to get the big male retic and the berm and Charlie outside too. Thermostats. I actually, man, I've had problems with the last two that I got. Got them off Amazon. I tried something that was a little bit different. I don't know what the brand name is on those, but damn it. Let me see. I'm gonna go on to Amazon real quick and see if I can find that order, and I will show you the ones that I've got. These ones right here, I've had them on the enclosures downstairs forever. They've worked great. They're very simple. And let's see. Make sure nothing crazy on here, like my credit card number or any shit like that. You guys would be drastically disappointed. Yeah, hijack that. That wasn't even worth committing a felony for. Let's see. So, yeah, these right here, man, $19 a piece. These are the ones that I've got downstairs. They were great. I've got two of them that I'd ordered that look similar to this. The buttons are in a triangular pattern, though, and they are not working at all. So, anyway, those are the ones that I've been using. Size tank, I think, is best for a retic. Let's see. Typically, what the rule of thumb is that a lot of people will use for enclosure sizes is the length of the snake needs to be equal to or less than the sum of the length of the tank plus one side. So if you think of that one right angle where you got the long side and then the back side, say for instance, you've got an 8-foot long enclosure by 3 foot deep, and that's 11 feet. So 11 feet and less is the size animal that you'd want to have in there. You can typically, and this is the thing that gets touchy with a lot of people. A lot of people keep adult retics in 8-foot enclosures. I right now I've got to keep my 16 footers in 8-foot enclosures, but the way you've got to manage them when you do that is anytime that they're showing any kind of activity level at all, you need to open it up, let them out, let them run around and stuff like that. Because I mean, you can give a snake a 20 by 20 enclosure. Most of the time, it's going to stay curled up where it wants to curl up at. And, you know, they're going to move around periodically. They'll get bursts of energy and stuff like that. But for the most part, they're going to be curled up, relaxing, basking, soaking, whatever it is they're doing. So the smaller enclosures are doable as long as you pay attention to them every day. And if they're looking like they want to get out and move around, you throw the door open and let them get out and move around. Typically, like I'll take my 16-foot male outside. He'll run around out there for like a half hour, and there's times where he'll come into the house on his own, get back into his enclosure. Because he's like, okay, I've had enough of you. I've had enough of the outside. Put me back in my hole. So, but yeah, typically a rule of thumb is it's the length of the depth of the tank plus the length of it. So like I said, if you had an 8 by 3 foot deep, then 11 foot is typically the biggest snake you want to keep in there. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, Kyle said he used to hike or ride 30 to 60 kilometers a day. Reminds me too much of my military days. My days of doing that are over. I'd have screws popping out of my knees if I tried that shit again. Oh yeah, man. Well, I mean, you know, that's one thing that was really funny. When I went to Special Forces selection for the Army, I mean, they feed you freaking mountains of food out there. And even spending a couple months training up, getting ready for it, doing a bunch of heavyweight ruck marches and a lot of running and stuff like that. I got there and selection just kicks your ass so much. Eating 3 of the biggest meals I could get in front of me every day. And after that shit, I walked out of there looking like I was wearing my dad's uniform. My clothes were just hanging off of me because I still lost weight. You think you're in shape until you do a selection course for one of the branches like that, and you find out really quick. This stuff will break you down. I had to do that twice. The first time I jacked up my knee, had to quit 2 weeks into it, had to rehab, come back 6 weeks later and go back again. And I decided the second time around, I didn't care if my leg fell off. I was going to keep going. So I selected the second time. It was all worth it. Book to book 5, set thermostat. The call's out. Have a good one. Oh. Yeah, I can't wait until I have a whole room for mine. It's one of the things that I want to do since I don't keep a whole lot of animals. I've got a couple more that I want to add when I get space, but I really want to build out some bigger, cool enclosures for the ones that I've got. Cannot wait to start doing that. Yeah, and there's a lot of different options too that folks are talking about with the thermostats. So. Yeah, there's something to be said for getting sleep. Let's see. Man, I think I caught up. How'd that happen? You guys are slacking. I keep getting caught up on the comments. What's up with that? All right, well, I got to get at least one snake out. So let's see if I'm going to get my green tree out. Everybody else is in their water. And Chloe's in shed. I ain't going to mess with her. What are you doing up there? Crazy girl. Let's see. Where did my little snake go? I'm getting a mess up here. What's up? I guess he wants to come out. I don't know. Shit, you guys can't see it because the chair's in the way. You're probably not getting. Oh, there we go. Yeah, look at him. As soon as I open up the door, his kid's coming around. It's the weekend. He's eating tomorrow, so. Where? Get over here. What you doing, bud? You want to come hang out? There's no food. There's no food anywhere near here. Come off of there and hang out. Come on, slide your butt off of there. Come on. Let go. Yeah, let go. Yeah, let go of the thing, man. Yeah, see, this is why those removable perches are worth their weight in gold. There's no way I'd be able to get this guy in any reasonable amount of time off a, there we go. Off like a stationary tree or something. Come on. I know. Get over here. I'm going to go ahead and put this perch back real quick. Come on. Okay. So there, I got co-host now. The dreaded green tree python. This is probably the freaking sweetest green tree you're ever going to see, too. So let's see. Get your face up there. There you go. This guy actually took a swing at me 2 days ago. There we go. That's a really good shot. Yeah, he was so freaking on point. I just walked by and opened up the door, and he came all the way out, came just about popped me in the leg. But he gets reactive every now and then. He's a chow hound. I don't think he's ever actually refused a meal. Just about every other one of my snakes is refused at some point or another. I don't think he ever has. I mean, get that thing focused in on his eyes, man. It's one of my favorite features about this guy. Ah. But yeah, this is one of those animals that you hear a lot of people say that they're really bitey, they're really defensive. They'll, just as soon bite you as look at you. But again, it all has to do with how you work with them and how you handle them and stuff like that. With most snakes, if you're really afraid it's going to bite you, chances are it's going to feel that and prove you right. Ain't that right? You're just a good boy, though. Yeah, just like any of the rest of them, man. Once I get them out and I get those, make sure I have food responses off. Don't worry about them at all. Hey, Jeremy made it. How you doing, buddy? What was that? Man, you just... Oh, wow. Yeah, Jeremy just sent me a picture of some enclosures, man. Friggin' awesome. Looks really good. Matter of fact, I'm going to let everybody else see them too because they're really fucking nice. There I go. I didn't censor myself. I don't know, you guys can't see it too well because it's kind of small, but yeah, he's got some really nice setups in there, man. I love the natural plants stuff. Looks really good. It's awesome. Let's see, Bert. Yeah, I guess I must have missed a comment in there. Somebody looking for food. Yeah, go on and just look for show rabbit breeders in your area. Most of the show rabbit breeders that I know of cull, and you'll be able to get, if you get a good one that breeds a lot. I can get rabbits that are this big, the size of maybe a small rat, all the way up to 9-pounders. So I can literally feed every snake in the house, except for my little male hognose, who's got to go on small mice. But everybody else, I can feed rabbits. So. Yep. Yeah, he was asking if it was Aru. Aru is a locality. And also, Arus are known for being a little bit more docile than a lot of the other ones. So, what I do need to do when I finally start adding to the collection some, get more space, I want to get a nice emerald tree boa and work with it and get it equally as mellow. Because I know people they're not the least bit worried about green tree pythons, but you get them around tree boas and they're like, nope, I'm not touching it. It's going to kill me. Let's see. Captive bred, as far as I know. I don't really know much of his history. I know there was somebody that had to get rid of his collection. He had a really small collection. This was one of them. And I went and picked him up. I'm really glad I did too, because this is a really, really good boy. Cool beans. Yeah, Jeremy has got this World Wilcox. You can go on he's actually got a YouTube channel as well, and he's got some really cool enclosure setups over there. Does some rescue stuff, things like that. So you'll definitely want to go check it out. What are you doing? What are you doing? What you doing? What is that? This is a smart little guy too, man. If you watch his face when he's roaming around, I mean, you can just see him taking his environment in. Not the least bit worried about me. Are you? The least bit worried about me at all. And they've got it just, he's just like my Sri Lankan too. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Friggin' muscle on his head, man. This is, I guess I'm going to have to pull Bob out of his water dish too. But he just loves his little, oh, I know. You're okay. I'm going to touch your head. This is definitely something, it's a good habit to get into when you're working with them is, I try to keep my hands when I'm if I'm just letting them hang out and stuff like that, I don't do it all the time. But if I'm intentionally working with them, like I did with Bob when I was getting him socialized, is I like to have their heads running right over my fingertips. And I like to have my hand really close to his head. And you want to try and get their head desensitized to movement and things like that once you get them out. I really like Kevin's philosophy of nothing is sacred, because that's really kind of the best way to do it. It's not really like you're imposing on them, but if you've got, like, say for instance, you've just got them out and you're hanging out and you don't desensitize them, maybe you do something like this or you move really quick, they might see that and just go ahead and their instincts kick in and go after it. Whereas if they're used to seeing you moving around and touching their head and stuff like that, then, just like this, I don't worry about him biting me at all. I'm gonna put my fingers right there in front of his mouth. And I know the camera's all blurry. Autofocus on this thing isn't that great, but see, not the least bit worried about it. Oh, let's see what I'm missing here. What you got? Oh, cool. Yeah, Jeremy was just saying in that picture. Oh, yeah, I see him. He was talking about that one having a green tree python in it. That is really nice. Get over there. All right, so any of you guys wanted to follow him, Jeremy said he's been slacking on YouTube and Instagram, so where you're going to find most of the stuff. Nice. There was, man, actually, that update video that I did, the last one that I put out, we're showing Steve working with that pied. The part that I didn't include in that video is after he had him out and was handling him for a while, man, that snake's ass exploded all over the place. It was bad. Hey, Mystic Mountain's here. Good to see ya. Let's see. Hey, you did. You're here. You caught me just in. What are you doing? I mean, if you're gonna bite me on the nose or something like that, might as well do it on a live stream. Might as well. That's when Bob did it. Bob decided he was gonna take a shot at my face. Yeah. You're such a good boy. These guys they love their time out so much. Oh, stop jumping. It's just me. It's just me. Yeah. You're a good boy. Yeah. I don't know though, man. They are pretty scary. He might be sizing me up to see if he can eat me. You think? He is going up to my head. I mean, that's where they start eating at. Could be. This could be the first live stream where you guys get to see somebody eaten alive by a python. You think? Is that how it's going to go down? He's such a good boy. I'm going to put him back and get Bob out. I know everybody always loves to see him. Come on, you. Come on. Really? You really like that? Oh, Bob, you're going to be so mad at me. You're going to be mad at me? You're going to come out and see me? Come on, Malfi. Come on, wet boy. These guys are always such little icicles when I've been in there soaking. I don't care how warm you make their enclosure. Get in the water. Come on. Let it tell everybody how you feel. Come on. Are you done yelling already? You need to come out and warm yourself up a little bit. You got to eat tomorrow. You do. There you go. Yeah. So any of you guys that have missed it previously, this is our Sri Lankan python. This is the same one that was in all the videos where he would flop around for dear life and bite me about 30 times a video. There you go. Get up there. That's a good boy. There it is. A really good shot of his mug. I really love the way his eyes are two-tone like that. If the damn camera would focus again. Come on. Almost had it. There. I think I'm figuring out the sweet spot. It looks like there's a certain zone where that thing's going to pick up an autofocus at. So there we go. Yeah. You're such a good boy. You're a friggin' popsicle, though. Get your butt over here. Come on. What are you doing? I can't scroll through the comments if you don't let go of my hand. There. There you go. Okay. Oh, where we go? Ah, there we go. Hello, Sissy from New Orleans. Good to see you. Hey, there's Jordan. Hey, somebody was looking for you earlier. I don't remember who it was, but they popped right in. And I was like, hey, where'd Jordan go? Get a female version of Bob, huh? Definitely looking forward to that. That'll be cool. Yeah, he's really, I don't know. It doesn't look a whole lot different than normal to me. Yeah. Good boy. Let's see. Yeah, he was saying you don't see too many of these anymore. It's my understanding. When I took him in, I was told there was like 20 Sri Lankans in the country. Since then, I don't know who it is, but I heard somebody had a clutch of them. So that's good. And these are really awesome snakes. And I don't know exactly how big he's going to get, but I'm fairly certain he's going to stay a pretty manageable size. Those of you guys that don't know, Sri Lankans have recently been made their own species. They were classified as a locality of Indian rock python, much the same way super dwarf are locality retics. But they've made these guys their own species now. So you're special. He is such a good-natured snake, man. And it's so funny, too. You see this a lot. Bob is a perfect example of that, especially from the beginning. As, you know, it took some time to get him to this point. But you'll see a lot of times people open up the enclosure and the snake might hiss, you know, maybe it strikes or something like that. People get worried, they get scared, you know, they think, oh man, I just need to leave them alone. You know, it's kind of to be expected with some snakes. You know, just like Bob right here, if I left him alone every time I opened up the enclosure and he hissed at me, then I'd never handle him. You know, he's a lot of times these guys they're solitary animals. They don't want to be messed with. They're laying in there, they're comfortable, and they don't want nothing to do with you a lot of times. So you can expect to get, you know, a little bit of negativity sometimes with some animals when you go in, but all you got to do is just break through that and ignore it. And once you get them out, okay, right. You get them out, you get this nice, relaxed animal that just starts to adapt and starts to enjoy his time out. What are you doing? What are you going after there? Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah, I'm really proud of how this guy's come along. He's really... Those of you guys that hadn't seen him when I first got him, man, he's an entirely different animal. Ain't ya? He's even bitten me in the face on a live stream before. You have, because you're a little badass. What you doing? Trying to put you around my neck. Down there. What you doing? Yeah, see, I mean, stuff like this, when you see them starting to, force their nose up against you and things like that, it'll make a lot of people nervous, but, it does really good. Like I said before, it's kind of funny because my green tree python will actually get up on top of my head and like push down, and I'll feel his top teeth poking into the top of my head. What was that? Somebody was talking about, what did Tom Crutchfield have? Let's see. Catch up on the oh yeah. He has gotten completely comfortable once he's out. He'll still put up a fight every now and then going in. Typically he won't strike at me when I go in there to take him out, but it all depends. If I've got to go in there and wrestle with him, if he's like stuck in a hide or something and I'm trying to get him out, the longer I'm in there with him, the more defensive he gets, and I can make him strike me pretty easy if I wanted to, or if it takes me a while to get him out. But for the most part, he just begrudgingly comes out, and then he's perfectly happy once he gets out here. Let's see. That's a good question about when to switch meals from once a week to every other week. It's fluid. There's not a clear answer to that. Depends on the size of the meals that you're feeding. Depends on how old the snake is, stuff like that. What are you doing? Good job. Yeah, typically, I think, I guess if I had to guess, my female retic that's 16 feet now, I think I dropped her down. I don't even remember how old she was. I know I was feeding her every week, and then when the meals started getting up, when 10% of her body weight turned up to be a pretty sizable meal, then I'd start pushing her off to every 2 weeks. Typically when they're younger, but they'll start slowing down at like 2 or 3 years as far as how fast they grow a lot of times. So once they get 2 or 3 years old, I guess that's probably, and like I said, man, you can't take any of that stuff for gospel because it's different for every animal. Some of them aren't going to eat every week. I've got a lot of snakes here that'll refuse pretty regularly. So, oh, let's see. First time ball python owner, and he used to strike at you when you took him out of the enclosure. Yeah, it takes a little while. If you're on your first ball python, it takes a little while to really get to know them, to trust them up by your face and things like that. Yeah, you see how vicious Bob is here. Matter of fact, just for shits and grins, I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna pull up the first video for those of you guys that may not have seen it. The very first time I handled the snake. I think you'll get a kick out of this. That whole playlist. And number 4, number 7, number 10. Where in the hell is it? Let's see. All right. You guys should get a kick out of this. For the audio, I'm just going to sit back and shut up and play this because this is kind of nostalgic. Let's see. What we got? You should be able to hear the audio on this.
Here, if worst case scenario, I don't think it will. Because I'm going to do my level best here to make.
I don't know if you can hear the audio on that video or not on your end.
That opened up.
But that was Bob when I first got him. I just got him home.
His head's sitting right there, and he's just keeping an eye on me. Absolutely no idea what I'm getting ready to do. He's got.
And this is the first time I ever had my hands on him.
So I'm going to come in behind him. It's okay. It's okay. Come in this way. Come on. Okay. Let's see, that was.
God. Crazy boy. He didn't want anything to do with people at all.
Okay. There we go.
You know, bite and piss and piss and everything.
Got me once on the arm. It was just a quick defensive strike. Didn't hurt at all.
Hey, Jenny.
He managed to tag me one time on the chest. Yeah, I don't want him to tag me in the eye. Hopefully you can see this. There we go. Come on. Come on.
This is the first time I've watched this video, I think, since I put it out.
Okay. There we go. See, and all I'm doing right now.
Such a night and day difference with this guy. It's really friggin' amazing.
Let him expend a little bit of energy. See if I can't fix this camera a little bit. There we go. All right. So I want him to expend a little bit of energy here, get a little bit tired. Just keep him supported. Trying to keep him distracted.
Let me know if that's better with the volume.
Because we don't want to get bit every time we work with this guy. There you go. See? Go, bud. It's okay. Yeah. He's really stressed out right now. He doesn't really know what to think. But the good thing is, oh, nice. A little bit of musk. You gotta love that. But see, the thing about this is he's starting to learn right off the bat that striking at me is not going to do him any good. So, he can try and bite all he wants to. It's not going to help, and it's not going to hurt. Here we go. See, you're okay, buddy.
I think he pops me pretty good here in a minute.
I'm probably getting more bold than I should be, getting him that close to my face. But you get a really good look at what a Sri Lankan looks like. Like I said, he's going to stay pretty small. And it's going to take a lot of interactions like this before he's really comfortable, But I just want to give him enough time for him to realize that I'm not a bad guy. Get it out for a minute.
What is that?
And he got his shots in. But, yeah. So we are just going to repeat this experience.
Somewhere.
Being really careful to make sure that he doesn't get in a position where he can pop me in the chin. But, I think there was a couple quick motions that I made there at some point that got him startled again. So you do got to stay on point with him when you're getting him No, he's pretty much done
Let's
with me.
see.
He doesn't want anything else to do with me.
I'm gonna try not
I'm
to
gonna
run
let
through
him.
this whole thing.
Come on. Go in there. No,
There you go. That's one bite.
Come
He had enough. He was getting stressed out. There was one in here too. I had to find it at some point. Anyway. It's really neat to see how far he's come. So where are we at? Let's get back there. Yeah. So entirely different animal. You did right, buddy. I ain't even a little bit worried about you anymore. See, but anyway, you'll see. For those of you guys that aren't familiar, the video that I just put up. Sorry about that. I was thinking about stuff and kind of zoned off for a minute. That was the very first time I got him home and got him handled. And I recorded every single handling session. I didn't miss any. Every time I touched a snake, I recorded it. And it took about 10 handling sessions to get him kind of mellowed out. And you can see the ways that I did it and the way I managed him. So if you guys are having similar problems, you can see 10 handling sessions from that state to this state. Now, it may be different for different animals and stuff like that, but I mean, there's certain ways that you just got to approach these guys if you want them to get comfortable with you. And it's not about us being comfortable. We are so unimportant in this equation. The only thing that we got to worry about is keeping the animals comfortable and secure and supported. And if we do that enough times, they learn to trust us pretty quick. And once they learn to trust us, then we ain't got nothing to worry about. Because he's obviously not going to bite me. And he's obviously enjoying the enrichment and stuff and just looking around and seeing some different things. And we don't worry about him anymore. Ain't that right? Matter of fact, the first time I had him out on a live stream, he attacked the hell out of the microphone. He did not like the microphone one bit. So let's see. Yeah, those first, I think it was like the first 3 or 4 handling sessions. He did not miss an opportunity to bite me. He was all over the place. Yeah, but we're saying first guy to tries to take off. Actually, my that little male that I've got downstairs, little male retic, he's like that. He just wants to run as soon as he gets out of the enclosure, man. He's got so much energy. He's another one who's going outside to burn off some of it tomorrow. But yep. Yeah, I've got I don't know. I'll see how easy it is to find. I think I might have actually made a short. When I get caught up on the comments, I'll scroll through here and see if I can find the short that I made from where Dingleberry here, Mr. Bob, decided he was going to bite me in the face on a live. What you doing? Crackhead? What's up with you? Crazy ass snake. What are you doing? I have a scaly turban here in a minute. Oh, let's see. Yep, it's Bob. He's being Bob. Yeah, he did. He tore the hell out of that microphone the first couple times he was out. How old do I think he is? I think he's probably somewhere between 1 and 2 years old, maybe 2. It's hard to say. It's a bad thing about so many of the animals that I've got. I really don't have solid. I've got to guess at the ages of almost all of them. So, I don't remember. Yeah, I'll go. I'm going to look up here in just a second. No, one of the next snakes I'm intentionally going to get is a green anaconda when we get moved, and if I may end up getting it beforehand, I don't know, because they're not quite as fast growing as retics and stuff. So, but yeah, my one of my next intentional snakes is going to be a female green anaconda, and I want to get a nice aquatic enclosure put together for her. He's asking. Yeah, he should. I could go down to the ER like this and tell him he's transferring diagnoses to me via osmosis through my head. Yeah, I guess that's where he wants to stay. So we'll let him stay there for a minute. Okay, let me see if I can. This should be pretty easy to find. And it's kind of funny too, man. You get the I looked through some of the older videos, man. I can tell I lost weight. That makes me happy. All right, so I know I did a short with this guy. Where's he at? You guys will just have to bear with me while I. Oh, here we go. Let me get this. Come on. Start over. Again. Let's see. Maybe if I go over here, it'll show up better. Come on, damn it. I don't know why the scroll bar just refuses to work. So I'm going to have to time this better, I guess. I get this set up. Come on, work with me here. There we go. Let's go ahead and start this right here. And yeah.
Really?
We're getting towards the end. It's getting ready to start over again.
That's awesome.
And you guys will see the she is a straight stud, and I'm really proud of her.
She just got don't bite me. Really? Would you stop?
Yeah. Got me, got the mic. You just going freaking ape shit that day.
At least you didn't draw blood. You did punch me in the face, though.
Yeah. Oh, Bob. We got such a good history together. Shut that down now. But yeah, the funny thing about that when he did that is, I mean, I'm pretty good at reading their behavior. So the way he was sitting over there, I mean, I looked over at him and is just completely freaking sure he was getting ready to bite me. And just like right now, he's getting a little huffy. What's the matter, bud? Are you ready to go back home? But yeah, I should have probably moved him away from me a little bit. And punched me right in the face. There you go. I'm gonna go ahead and put him back and get Athena out. It'll be funny. And for any of you guys that aren't really familiar with the Sri Lankans and the Burmese pythons, of course they look pretty similar. But take a quick look kind of at the shape of his head and how fat the back of his head is, how those muscles are, and the coloring and stuff like that. And you'll see a distinct difference in the Burm when I get her out. Really? You gonna come see me? Come see me, little girl. Come on. Get under there. There you go. This is another one that she didn't want to be messed with either. And both of them were in there soaking. Get your face up there. Let everybody see you. Yeah, you can see on the Burms, their head's a lot more. A lot more moving. Would you stop moving? All right, come here. Ooh. Wet snake. There. So anyway, she'll come back around in a second. Come on. Quit trying to run away. She's normally really gregarious and loves just as soon as I open up the door, she'll like crawl out on me, but she's in there in chill mode tonight. Has been for a couple days. What? What? She's a good girl. Let's see to where. Yeah, just talking about Bob I and the mic. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what kind of cat-like reflexes you think you got. When these guys decide they want to bite, man, I've got a couple of them that I did slow motion, or Bob had taken a shot at me, and he was just too far away to hit me. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to bump you. But But yeah, it's kind of funny to watch in slow motion because, I mean, he strikes and pulls back before I even got time to react to it. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could, it was weird because I was looking at the hour mark and I was like, okay, we can cut it off, but it just felt weird cutting it off so early. Berms are great, man. They really are. This one, she's going to be a pretty good sized girl. I've got a 13-foot male albino down there that's just the sweetest snake ever. Maybe next time I'll go ahead and bring him up here and let him hang out. He doesn't get a whole lot of camera time. And he really should, because he's one of my neediest animals. I mean, he is the one that's always at his glass when I go down there. The retics, sometimes, yeah. Him, as soon as he sees me, he's right at the glass wanting to come out. So. Let's see. That's a good one. Tara was asking if we'd find any tendency for males or females to be nicer or less nice. As far as see, I hate to say that. I don't, they say there's different, snakes will experience different things, being male or female, different breeding behaviors and stuff like that. I've got some kind of a mental block in here where I can't blame snake behavior, good or bad, on anything other than the handler. It's just the way I've got myself conditioned to work with them. I try not to think something's going to be more or less defensive because of the sex of the snake. Just take everything on a case-by-case basis. All of mine, they've got different personalities, but they're equally as trustworthy. It's kind of funny because my male retic is 16 feet and 80 pounds. He's much older. He's somewhere between 10 and 15 years old. And my female retic is about 5 years old, and she's 16 feet and 80 pounds. They're both pretty much the same size. And I've got the same experience with both of them. I'm a little bit more cautious with the male, just because I got him when he was older. And he didn't come from the greatest situation, and he was really defensive when I got him. So that is a mental block for me. I still remember opening up the enclosure on him when I first got him and watching him just sail across the room trying to strike at me to keep me away. But even, he's not struck at me since the last time he did it was like a month after I got him. And then after that, I've had him outside doing everything. He just never had to worry about it. So I don't know. Like I said, I see different personalities, but I don't base it on the sex of the snake. I base it on just what their different personality is. Yeah. It's still, every time I watch that, I was just like, oh, that's perfect. Nothing like getting a read on a behavior just right and then having it happen. So I say the Burms are the most docile out of the big guys. I don't know. Probably. I guess if I had to say which species was it was thought to be the most docile, probably Burms. Burms are thought to be pretty chill and derpy overall. So, I mean, you're not derpy. You are pretty chill though. You just want to run now. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it too. Like I said, you'll hear people talking about breeding behaviors and stuff like that, but I don't see a big change in the behaviors for the most part. And Jordan said 3 of his 12s are males, and they're all really good. Yeah. Yeah, I've worked with a lot of retics, hundreds of them at one time, and like I said, you'd see differences between a wild caught and you could tell some that came from bad situations. Someone was in a bad situation, but males, females, I've seen both. They were really, really scared and would fight you just as soon as you seen them, and seen others of both sexes that are just sweet as can be. Let's see. I'll get that. Yep. Yeah, Adam's right on the button with that. Burms really are the golden retrievers. Retics are kind of like the German shepherds. So. And see, Kai makes a good point here too. He's talking about how he's surprised how non-aggressive a lot of wild snakes are. One thing that we talk about is this is a snake's natural demeanor. Yeah. If this was a wild snake, this would be her natural demeanor. In the wild, when they're not running from a predator, or if they're not defensive, they're not scared and stuff like that, this is what they do. Anytime you see them, like National Geographic and stuff like that, when they're cruising around in the forest looking for food, they're not just flighty. They're not running around striking at everything because they're not being exposed to that much. So this is their natural demeanor. The only reason why they strike is because they see humans as a threat. All you got to do is give them enough time to process that we're not a threat, and then they start to relax into what their natural state is. So a snake's natural state is this. And that's what we shoot for. The only thing is that when you see the interactions with people catching wild snakes and they're necking them and all that, it's because, they haven't had that interaction and they don't know if they can trust people or not. And in most cases, they can't trust people because most people will kill one instead of risk getting bit by one. So, which is pretty sad. Ain't it? You're such a good girl. But yeah, this is what they're like naturally. You just got to get them past having to deal with us and get them to that natural state. Yeah, that's one thing. That's one distinct difference between my Burms and my retics is the berms are much less active. Like I can set my berm down, my male berm downstairs. I can set him on the floor, clean his enclosure, and he'll have made it maybe 10 feet. Just cruising around really slow, checking stuff out. If I do that with one of my retakes, they're across the room under the table and have already knocked everything off the shelves. So is that over there? Oh, cool. It's always awesome when you find one that got out. I was kind of sad months ago. I had got done feeding or cleaning or something like that on one of my leopard geckos. It was the only leopard gecko, the only reptile I've ever hatched out. I co-have my male and female leopard geckos, so they go through normal mating cycles and stuff like that. We decided to incubate eggs one time, got one of them to hatch, and God, he's such an awesome little guy. Really gregarious and all that. And I ended up leaving the lid off the enclosure one day and he got out. But he's still alive downstairs because I went down the other night, turned the light on, and I see just out of the corner of my eye, he darted underneath the cabinet. So I know he's down there living off of something. So there's no shortage of crickets and stuff like that running around down there. So maybe one of these days I'll be able to find him, put him back in the enclosure. Oh, where we at? Oh no. She said your bull python got out and the dogs found him in the backyard. You're lucky that the dogs were nice to him. Yeah, my carpet pythons are both sweetest animals you can imagine. Oh man. All right, guys. So we made it 2.5 hours. This happens every weekend, which I can't complain. It's always cool to hang out with everybody. Let the animals hang out a little bit. Just know that moving forward here, I am going to have to start cutting these a little bit shorter because, like I said, for those of you guys that are coming on now and you missed the beginning of it, I've had some interest in doing a Zoom call for the Patreon members. And I've been trying to figure out what the best way to do it is. I think the best way to do it is to move the Saturday night live streams up from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock. I started a little bit earlier and intentionally cut it off at like an hour and a half, and then move on to that and move into the Patreon Zoom call where everybody can get on, have a big group video chat, talk about anything, let folks show their animals off and things like that, do some live online coaching sessions with folks and things. So I think it'll evolve and grow into something that's really cool, something that we can bring new keepers into and give people a good, good solid place to pick up information about their animals. Because I mean, we've got a lot of really good keepers that hang out here that have got a wealth of knowledge, and anything that I don't know, I've got access to somebody that does know it. So, we can, I think we can grow that into some pretty, into a pretty useful tool for folks. And, it's going to help grow the Patreon page too, because, coming from here, it's all going to be just, paying Patreon members. We're going to get on, do the live calls and stuff like that. So it should be a lot of fun. And it'll help build the channel as well. And I've been thinking for a long time, as things get bigger, I need to start doing stuff specifically for the folks that support the channel, like the Patreon and things like that. So Okay, right. And she's just gonna keep me moving. Somebody talking about Harris. I don't know what you guys was talking about, but I agree. I've got sphagnum moss in all these enclosures back here behind me. I've got half paper and half moss because I want to give them a place where they can, like the hot side is paper, so they can get over there. I don't want to have the entire thing all moss and always keep it wet, because I don't want them getting stuff like scale rot and things like that. I want to be able to dry off and warm up and stuff. But like I said, I got half the enclosure all moss and keeps the humidity up. Even Bob sometimes, man, he'll go in there and he'll burrow into the moss. I'll open it up and the only thing I see is his nose and his eyes sticking up out of the moss. He looks at me and hisses, tells me to go away. But yeah, sphagnum moss is good. It's really good, especially in some of these enclosures when it gets difficult to keep the humidity up. Just like the green tree python in there, he never goes down to the ground. He's always up on his perch or cruising around the perches and stuff like that. So the whole bottom of his enclosure is all moss. I'll go in there and just hose it all down. So works really well. Yeah, I seen Kevin doing that. I seen where they was soaking the snakes in the Orbeez. I don't know that Kevin thought of that as maybe common practice. I think it was more of a, hey, this is a novel idea. Let's see what it does type thing. Especially when you got as many snakes as he does, you're certainly not going to be Orbeez and all the snakes. So, but yeah, I think it was more of a curiosity thing, just kind of saying, oh, this is something new. Is that right? I certainly do like the moss. Let me go ahead and put her back. She's not going to stop moving. Come on, crazy girl. Go home. Gosh, she's getting big. Oh, boy. Come on, crazy girl. Take some more water since you splashed it all out. Is this girl spoiled or what? I don't know. You guys can't see this crap. See this kid? I put her back on what she's doing. Go ahead, she's just sitting right there. Come on. Go home. Good girl. Yeah. Such a good girl. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it a night. Any of you guys that are watching and aren't subscribed, get subscribed. We need to catch up on all the subscribers that fell off when I did some house cleaning. Some let's see, what's the word for it? Philosophical house cleaning, maybe something like that. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here. And next week, 7:00 Eastern, Saturday. Like I said, just gonna bump this thing forward an hour, And sometime through the week, I'll get everything set up with the Zoom and everything. If you guys, I'm going to go ahead and post this Patreon link up here real quick. Any of you guys that are interested in jumping on and participating in that, all the paid Patreon members will be open to join. Let's see. So there's our Patreon. I'll get on there over the course of the next, let's see. Got some more notifications. Cool. Yeah, we'll, I'll go ahead and put some stuff up on there too. And we'll go ahead and get that fired up next week. So I'm going to go see what stuff I can get knocked out before I go to bed. And you guys have an outstanding night and rest of the weekend and all that stuff. And we will see you next weekend. You guys take care.